and let's just all agree that you have no idea whether any of these conclusions are true, and you're just speculating and hypothesizing, right? Fair enough.
I mean, I'm observing. I don't think I'm speculating, hypothesizing. I'm observing.
Okay, when did you observe horizontally, orientationally changing as you move? Please, for the love of God, tell us where you observed it.
I never claimed that it.
Yo,
My
he's a
god! I
Okay, so
literally just said every time that you move whatsoever, the horizon relative to you is changing. If I bend over at the waist, my horizon relative to me is changing.
Oh, okay, I get it. That's non sequitur, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I get it. You're even more lost than we thought. Yeah, that's non sequitur. You want to know why?
Not non sequitur.
It is non sequitur. You want to know why? Yeah, no, he doesn't want to know why. He's such a loser. These people, where do they come from? You got a degree or something?
No, it just elucidates the problem, friend. That the problem with all these arguments is that people have no idea, in practical, principled reality, what the term horizontal actually means.
Zero slope.
Oh goodness, man. So
The definition
I
doesn't
repeat,
change.
you have these two options, right? Or maybe even many options, whatever it might be. You have this data. You're not sure what a gyroscope does. You're not sure what a compass does. How do you determine what that thing? How do you make the conclusion of what it's doing? Because you guys seemingly are making a conclusion about what it's doing.
So a gyroscope maintains that rigidity in space. There'd be an extra assertion.
Allegedly, you're making that claim though, but you're not proving that.
No, that's what it does. We move it around, and that's why the contraction exists. So
that's not a proof. You're just asserting that.
No, but it doesn't matter where we take it. That's what it does. So we use this on an aircraft to maintain a horizontal. No, everything that you mentioned, the gyroscope and the compass, that's to either maintain horizontal or give you a horizontal bearing.
Yeah, you're alleging that, but you're not proving that.
Well, first of all, that's not alleged. What you're trying to sneak into people's consciousness is that on the macro scale, something other than what you're experiencing, something other than what you're experiencing is happening. Because when guy says this is what we experience, that is what we experience. Now, let me go ahead and read this. Right, a gyroscope is a device used for measuring or maintaining orientation and angular velocity. So basically, you're saying, how do we know that that's the case?
No, what I'm saying is, how do you know what the orientation is to? Is it to a point or is it to a flat plane that exists?
Gyro on the ground when they're in the plane, it's in reference to the horizon. And he already gave you the definition of that and the definition of horizontal. So when they're on the ground and they're spinning up the gyro, wherever the plane goes, it's in reference to that. Hence, artificial horizon. In case you can't see the real horizon.
What do you think horizon means?
That was already.
It was, but we clearly need to go back to it because we're going in circles now.
We don't need to go back because again, you asked us. No, you basically just said that a gyro doesn't work the way that I just read out, the way that we experience it.
No, I'm saying it works like that, but you're making conclusions about the words in that definition that are incorrect. Maybe they're not incorrect, but they are certainly conclusions.
Like what? Like what?
Post that definition again. I'll point it out for you.
But it's not a definition. It's describing what it's for. Now, if I have a mop and I mop the
Sure,
floor and
whatever
I
you just read, just
describe what
post
the
it.
okay, I'm gonna know. No, no. Hold on, no. I'm gonna repeat. As I said, if I have a mop, yeah, we called it a mop, right? Okay, and then I mop my floor and I describe mopping my floor. You can't tell me that me concluding that I mopped my floor is a false conclusion. That's dumb. In the same sense, if I've used a gyro that holds rigidity in space so that I can fly level with the horizon, that's what I'm doing. I'm not doing that.
Go for it. I don't know if I said that. I don't think I would have said that earlier. I don't recall if I did say it.
This is what happens when you're religious. You don't know what you said and didn't say.
Could you give me the reference of what I was saying? Or context? I literally just said I couldn't remember. Asked and answered. I repeat, can you give me the context of when I said this so I can jog my memory here? Yeah, I was saying that. I mean, I was making the assertion that in the context, say, to I don't know, a gyroscope, you can't tell whether it's the ball or the ball Earth's model or the flat Earth's model of whether it's flat versus I don't know, in comparison or like pointing in a certain direction towards a thing. Like there's two options here. But there wouldn't. If the literal gyroscope always points towards the gravitational point, right? The core gravitational point, then
Is
that
the horizon a
gyroscope's pitch would
gravitational
never
point?
change and you'd still
Is the
go completely
horizon
around a
is the
circle.
horizon a gravitational point? Because
Excuse
clearly
me?
that was completely non sequitur, at least a red herring from what Jedi said. Because we're pointing to we're pointing and we're pointing and
Whoa.
maintaining flight with the horizon as a frame of reference. That's what we're pointed to. Okay, so that's the thing. Now, that technically we're not because the plane is at maximum pointed 3 degrees above zero pitch. But the whole point is you saying that the pitch wouldn't change when indeed, if in your paradigm, level in free space is actually an arc, you would have to have some kind of proof of that, dog. This
You
would
wouldn't,
be showing that it's not.
like I said, in theory, if you're, say, 100 feet from
Yeah.
the magnetic North Pole and you walk in a circle, and
Yep.
you would think that if you walk in a circle, you can't possibly be, circling the North Pole, but that's exactly what's happening. You're actually pointing towards a point, not trying
Oh
to
my
get this
God.
this
He just said
designation of
that's
a
what's
straight line.
that's going around the mountain, but he just used a different example. Why do people think this way?
Yeah, bro, how can the gyro be the baseline from which they're getting their pitch if a gyro maintains its rigidity in free space and it's spun up on the tarmac before the plane leaves? That means the rigidity and plane that it possesses would be the plane of the tarmac where it left. So if it was traveling over an arced path,
You lost me there for a second.
plane of the
The
tarmac,
gyro maintains its.
just let me finish. The plane of the tarmac, right, which is where it leaves the takeoff strip, would be what the gyro's baselined at. And as you follow an arced path, those would vary in angle, and so you couldn't use that to get your horizontal. So you can't use the original spin-up location as your reference. Which is why the gyros have pendulous vanes, which are weighted air shafts, which hang down, right, to the local down, and they redirect the gyro to baseline it back to horizontal locally. So they actually have to force the mechanical gyro to reorient itself in order to get a baseline for horizontal as they travel. So even in the way that these things work, it denies your claim that the gyro itself is going to just change itself automatically. No, the whole point of a gyro is it resists change. In other words, if you spin up a gyro, right, and then you do 5 backflips, the gyro doesn't do 5 backflips. The gyro stays the exact orientation where you spun it up. I mean, look, if a gyro didn't maintain its rigidity in free space, it'd be a useless tool. It'd be a big waste of everybody's time.
So let me get this right, AI. The best argument, or the well, I don't. It's not an argument or a rebuttal. The best response that we've got to this is, I don't know if horizontal is horizontal though. I don't know if horizontal is consistent though. I don't know if this data would really tell us if we're on a ball or not though. First of all, that's exactly what Wolfie said, that this data would do that. I don't, y'all, man, y'all, oh boy, y'all get my collar hot.
Well, that's not exactly the truth. So what actually happened in the past is that Wolfie was supposed to provide attitude data relative to the rotation of the gyro, not pitch data relative to a horizontal reference. Those are 2 different pieces of data. Pitch data and reference data to the gyro are not the same. Okay. We argued this 7 or so years ago. And we're finally now, somebody finds some data here, which everybody already knew, that planes maintain a 3-degree pitch as they travel at level altitude-based flight, right? Everybody already knew that. That's pretty much standard for how planes fly. So this is already known information. This is nothing new. And this is not a silver bullet as it's not as much of a silver bullet as some people would like it to be, because you need to parse out all those other details in order to really come to a firm conclusion. Now, does it support a globe? No. But that's the problem, is like most of these globe ideas require this wiggle room of negligibility. It's like, well, the Earth's so big you don't have to account for the curve. The plane flies so minor that it just corrects itself as it goes, and there's no way for you to know it. Like, well then how are you supposed to prove to me it's happening, dude?
What?
Huh? Degree of what? No, there's no. 3 degrees of pitch. Yeah, look, planes are designed to fly in a particular orientation to maintain level flight. And that particular orientation is a 3-degree pitch off of how pitch is measured to the orientation of the axis of the structure of the plane. So in order for planes to maintain a level flight in a particular altitude, they essentially have to fly at approximately 3 degrees of pitch. Otherwise, they will descend. Because the way the plane is structured, the way the wind is hitting it will not allow the plane to maintain its consistent lift. So it has nothing to do with correcting for anything. That's just the way they're aerodynamically designed.
I really feel like yeah, I really yeah, you're saying the same thing. It's not yeah, you're saying there's an angle of attack, blah blah blah. Like yo, it really is as simple as well. Water at rest is level, right? And some would say that's not a silver bullet. Yes, the fuck it is. Um, like because just because we're finding out shit we already know, it really just means, well, before we believed it was flat, but now we know. And that we're saying these things again, these things that are actually simple, and people find it hard to accept the simple truth of the matter. There's no way. I don't understand. There's no way to diagrammatically show me how you're gonna fly 3 degrees above horizontal around a curving surface, and that I need to see. Like, there's nothing you can give me that would make that make sense, other than a flat piece of paper and a drawing like that. That then it'll make sense, right? But anything besides that doesn't make sense.
I mean, unless you can prove that the thing titled horizontal reference is actually experiencing a continuous rotation. If you could prove that, then you might have something. Because again, what Elijah just said is talking about the term horizontal in a particular way. And when the Glober says horizontal in this context, they're not talking about the same thing. So they're using the same token, HORIZON, the same meaning. One person saying one word and another person saying a different word. They appear to be the same words, but they're actually different words, entirely different terms.
I get that, but what about how? But again, forgetting, and now we're at a point where I'm saying the same thing I just cursed the other guy out for, right? Earlier, Peter, right? Hey, forget the words. Like, we know that we're flying at a particular orientation with respect to the artificial horizon, right? On the plane, which is not. Let's say that that's not whatever horizontal. I don't even know how to say whatever. But the bottom line is we're doing something. So if someone is to claim that the ground is curving and we're in the air moving at 3 degrees pitch, I need to know how the hell that happens while you're going in an arc path. That's the
Well, you
only
answered the
thing.
question. You answered the question. If he's holding 3 degrees pitch off of an artificial horizon, right? The plane would have to be on the globe side that the artificial horizon is experiencing a constant rotation, right? So it's momentaneous, which means that it is constantly happening at a an incremental rate that to the pilot is unnoticeable, right? To
That's
the instrumentation is unnoticeable.
that's a super mind fuck, because basically it's saying that actually you are changing orientation to remain at the same pitch.
Correct. You got it, dude. That's the problem. Is if you're traveling in an arced path and you're maintaining perpendicularity to a radial traced along the arc, you must be experiencing a rotation. Period. Cannot be otherwise. Period. There's no arguing that point. It has to happen. Otherwise, you can't travel in that manner. It's not possible.
So is the airplane's angle of attack nosed down to the horizon constantly?
Yeah, for a plane to maintain level
no
flight.
airplane. So level flight is not nose down to the horizon because the heads-up display on the airplane is not the leading edge of a globe.
Angle of
It
attack
is a
has to do
ground
with the
plane
wings, bro, not the
representing the
fucking nose.
horizon. Okay.
But the angle of attack has to do with the wings, not the nose, fam. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, the nose is oriented to the wings in a fixed manner usually. So whatever the
Yeah, it would
wings
be
are
its
doing
orientation.
relative to the tube, let's just call it a tube, the hull, right? The tube of the hull is fixed to the wings in a particular way, and the whole plane has a particular profile. And they measure it somehow, like the way the axis of the wings cross the hull, and that somehow they orient the plane to approximately 3 degrees, and that gives it the appropriate lift to maintain altitude. Now, the old claim used to be, well, if a plane is flying around an arc, it would have to constantly dip its nose down. And then that created a big, argument back and forth that no, they wouldn't have to. And what you see, this is the difference. Listen, the plane must dip its nose down. The pilot must dip the plane's nose down. Those are two different claims, right? The answer is yes. The plane, the physical structure of the plane, every moment, the nose must be descending off its previous axis in a rotation, and the tail ascending in a rotation in order for it to follow an arc path. It's that simple to maintain level flight. So the plane is constantly rotating from a certain frame of reference that would be experienced as the nose constantly going downward. That's the way it must travel. Cannot be otherwise. So yes, it is the case that the plane's nose must be down, period. Now you could argue that the pilot doesn't have to input any commands into the instrumentation in order for that to occur. That's a different story. Regardless, the plane must do that. There's no other option. It's not possible in any way, shape, or form for it to do anything otherwise. So then the question becomes, since this data doesn't show that the plane is rotating in the manner in which it necessarily must, then where's the data that it is doing that? There's a lot of people claiming that's what the plane's doing, but I haven't seen any proof that that's what it's doing. Let's see. I can't remember where they said it came from, but it's obviously, if I remember correctly, it's from years ago, and they found it. I don't know how they found it. Basic parameters set for the incident flight time frame. November 2013 revised. United Airlines Boeing 727-20C LA 175. So this is a particular real world flight. The data from this plane and this flight.
I put the cover letter from the National Transportation Safety Board. If anybody has the actual link to this, if you put it in the chat, that'd be good for me.
Right. So if it's known that the plane has to maintain a particular pitch to achieve the lift it needs for the air traveling over it, right? Or whatever pressure system and altitude and all that. And we already know that the plane has to maintain 3 degrees. right? 3 degrees of what? Well, pitch. Pitch relative to what? Well, horizontal. So now we're back at horizontal. So the argument is all about what horizontal is. It's not, the argument isn't about whether the plane is pitching 3 degrees or not. Everybody already concedes that point.